Hello, John Dilworth at your service here. And we're continuing to clean up the last of this scene 55, which is a very complex thing, very complex scene. And I just want to share some of this complexity. It's got reuses in it. It's all about the timing. That's all about the timing. And then I started to realize that starts over here, in fact. It starts over here, which is rather quiet. In the first part, this is just blinking, and Anthony will know what to do. But I started to think, because of the complexity of this shot, I had to break it down even smaller. And I went back to my old trusty metronome and started to isolate the action into eighths or thirds of a second. And I even have the little marks to help me. And we get at the end. And the business comes across, but it's super fast. But I'm not worried. We're doing pretty well with this new technique, this style of timing. It just moves. And if any of you have seen the pencil test, extended pencil test we did recently, you could see that there is a momentum. There is an energetic force moving through that, and of course it'll get refined. And when color appears, right? As animators, filmmakers, we're always thinking about how color influences what we see. I mean, right now it looks nice. It's pencils and everything, but when this is in color, it has now a new thing, a kind of existence that has a metaphysicality, a weight to it. So this kid, well, it's Jane, the mouse hole. I should put a little rug there, right? I should put a little rug. So she's here, and the reason why I have this field guide is because we're going to do the arm. We're going to finish this arm, and it's just the way I had designed the cage so that she can fit in it as a background, and it's not a big deal what goes on behind this section, because this is the overlay. It's the most important thing, this overlay. This disguises everything. For instance, you won't be able to see a lot of this hand. Oh, do you see that? That's why I wanted to check. I'm not going to want to ink that. It breaks the line, so we're going to cut that, and that can be done quite easily. So it's our responsibility as animators to ensure that the inkers look good, that the painters look good, and all the rest, and that's called diligence, right? Diligence. So we don't want that. That's out. That part's out. But we needed to know to do the follow-through. So I'm going to leave this gate down here just to check. And so there's the shoulder. I put a little, it's in blue, but I put a little guide there. Oh, see, and that eye is being obscured by the gate, this pupil right here. And we don't like that, so we're going to move it. We're going to move it. And this is the kind of detail work, you can call it consideration, to accommodate our layouts. Yeah, see, it's just creepy. See, if I put the eye in here, she'll be looking this way, but now it's perfect. It's kind of like a dead eye or lazy eye, whatever they call it, but it gives it enough creepiness. And also, don't forget, while we're planning our big hoax, which is what animation is, right? A hoax. We're looking at this hand that's up here anyway, right? All right. So what I did is I gave myself a kind of a guide for where the shoulder is, and right here. So we're going to take our very filthy absorber of time, energy, and art, and everything in this little capsule, and we're going to, when we're done, put it on the next, what is it, a Tesla rocket ship, right? The that goes up into orbit to do other things we'll never know about, which is not in our purview anyway, as we're animators. And we just want to entertain. We want to entertain and inspire. And yeah, you know what? And it's also our role. We can be to be social critics, to question what is going on in the world through animation. Animation doesn't have to be anything, and it could be everything. And it really just depends on the director and the writer and all of that. You know, there is a tremendous, robust, and critical culture in animation. It's just not, you're not going to hear about it unless you go to film festivals and, very, very arts-oriented sites. I mean, but there is. Animation could be anything. I've seen, Michael Sporn did a documentary, animated, called Whitewash. I like that drawing. Oh, before we go on, I just want to say something here. We're going to, for the colorist, they need some indication, color cutoff. One day when we start coloring, dreams. What did Shakespeare say about dreams? I don't know. Dreams are what? What did he say? We should have more dreams. Okay, so here's this thing. Look at this. I realize. Okay, so silly dilly, you are a silly man. What did I do? This hand is on top of the gates. Oh, that was the whole point. The point is, that was the whole point. So that it could work over. You know what, Dilworth? Maybe you should have sold pretzels in Central Park. Because, no, this was a blundering error. But, and I did it again with a pencil. But not to worry. Because if you realize that you have erred, you can take action. Okay? And not just write ignore line. Now that will be for the history books. I made an error. So the hand is outside the cage now, and I did a very simple thing to do it in. Get away with it. I simply had this hand. She lets go. She was holding the bar, and she lets go. So that one is just. It's a good thing I checked this one too. This one has to come down just a little bit. And it's so important. Good reminder to always check your stuff. So this hand lets go of that bar. It's on the inside, right? Perfect. And then on the next frame, the hand just pops. It's on the outside because it's part of one continuous action. And this, my dear friends, it's what it's all about. How do you put over a hoax so that it's convincing? And, see what we do. Look at over 100 years of animation as hoax. People believe it. They just get into it because we do it very well. Now, I guess you can make a lot of money in this. I haven't. I have not. Because, as you know with my work, I simply don't roll that way. Oh, and I'm going to cry. Cry. All right, so here. So I'm using, I hope you can see this. I want to use as much of the frame as possible. I mean, I could actually have come up higher. Makes me think about that. I could. It's a little bit more work for me right now if I have to do that. Yeah, but this gives me a little bit more snappy. But what I could do to make it even more snappy, as certain Spanish say, snappy, going snappy. Well, I miss going snappy. Nowadays, with all the restrictions on the sensitivities, you can't go snappy. You can only go snappy with people that get the idea of going snappy. And this, and here's a filthy thing. So this is what happens when you're excited about engaging in activity. And for me, drawing is the activity. And one could say it's almost mythological. I'll have to create a shaman so that I don't know, it becomes authenticated. Because all myths, right, they have these shamans or priests, the priest ruling class, these boys, girls. Oh, when I think about the girl shamans that ruled for so long, wow. All those lovely figurines that they keep finding, they call them fertility. They're not fertility, they're honoring the power of of women. My God, they were prayed to. These things were the objects of devotion. And for everything else, please send me $100 million. Please let, my dreams come true. What do we do? What do humans do? Like for me, for Goose in high heels, I chose the moon. I prayed to the moon, said, moon, please make my film a great one. Deliver me from my poverty. Well, a more practical person would say, Dilworth, what are you doing praying to the moon? And I always go, well, I understand it works even if you don't believe in it. Okay, there's 4. Now, what more comes after 4? Well, E5. Okay, so that's 5. So these charts are done. The timing worked out where there's no room for this type of thing. So what can we do? Let's say, I rarely do it, but I'm going to do speed lines. I'm going to do speed lines. And what I want to do is try to imagine the arc of these very important landmarks. So the tip of one nail to the other, that's about the same. That thumb, like that. So it's not random. Like, like it's a comic book or something. It's different than a comic book. It's got a continuity. It demands a continuity. And unfortunately, as much as we don't like laws, there's some laws that are required to work, unless you're in the business of knowing the laws and deliberately breaking them down. And that would be, another art altogether. experimental art. Amazing films. When I was traveling to festivals, I was so grateful to see when experimental films were programmed. And I met many wonderful people who just thought of animation in very different ways than I did. And liked them a lot. Liked those films a lot. They do something to you. I'm very much into this whole energetic movement. Things have life. All things have energy. Notice that? It's very, very upsetting because we haven't been taught about it in schools. I don't remember learning about it. Okay, so we're going to do one other thing here as we're building our master action. Just want to see what are we looking at here. So, do we need an arm? Or can the hand just play alone? Do you see what I mean? The arm is up here, and if it's moving forward, I love getting into just weirdness of the hand. I mean, what is it really? It just looks deformed. Love that. Love deformities. As we talked about the symbolism of deformities, a spiritual deficiency, an inability to act, an unwillingness to act. And it's always the unable or unwilling to take the responsibility of life, I'm sorry to say. And that's why mythologies are so relevant, so important, especially in smaller communities, where it was so important that children broke out of their childhood dimensions to become functioning parts of a society. This is stuff I'm reading, I'm studying. I've been studying this for a little while now. I love Joseph Campbell, but he's not the only one. Fraser, Bailey, they're all just, it's amazing. It's amazing the minds out there doing the heavy lifting for us. Well, what I could do, and if I do that, I just put an elbow in there, and it will act as a sort of distraction, I think. So this is a time where we will opt not to have anything except the speed line. We can maybe even do a little bit more there, maybe there. And that will just kind of slow it down. Kind of. Now, the ideal situation is to have a pencil test machine. To be able to, well, listen to me. The hand is too low. Why? Why is that off camera? Now I've got it, and I like that hand. Do you see what happens when you don't plan well? Okay, so let's do now we have to move this hand up here. Now I have to build it again. The good thing is I like hands. I was very bad at drawing hands. So then I just drew a lot of them. And I guess that's what happens. But not alone. The thing is that all this, how are we to learn really? We need people. We need we need people there with us. We need them. How are we going to learn? Education, you can just look at things, but somebody can come over and say, well, look, here, move it like this, and put it here, and do this, and and then what happens to all that fun about, oh my goodness, she has bad breath, or she has body odor. I mean, all that fun, all gone. Temporarily, maybe. Okay, let's hope so. I'm losing my way. I'm distracted by the excitement of drawing and showing you this, sharing this craziness with you. Let's see, I had a problem with the framing and I'm rebuilding it, but I want to make sure that it works for me. So I'm going to 5, 6, 7. I think it works. I really would like another drawing. And actually, I would like another 2 frames. But we've timed it out, and the timing is our structure. Yeah, so it's going to be okay. It's going to be fun. Right, so let's go back. We only have these 2 drawings to do. I hope it's not going to be too long for you. Attention span. And I really want to get across this excitement of creating again to counterbalance the dominant forces that are constricting our lives at the moment. And here's this thing. Jane is signaling. We know this. She doesn't want to hurt these kids. That's why it's her family. She loves them. I mean, this is why she's sequestered herself, locked herself in this cage, because she wants to protect them. But this, you see, is something you don't want to start playing around with. This is a monster. Monsters, like psychopaths, they really need to be sequestered from the rest of us good people, because they can do nasty. Right? You know this. You know this. We don't want any nasties. And then think, we're always doing this. There's something wrong with animators. We're always making sounds. Anybody's walking by our desk or our office and they hear these so I'm going to move this shoulder and they hear these crazy sounds coming out and they're vital. Well, if we're animators, it's like, oh, they're animators. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's all right. They're not normal anyway. They're animators. Oh, are they okay? Should we call a doctor? Oh no, sorry, can't call doctors. That's a nice claw to it, right? That's a nice clawing action to it. So now I'm going to just take the filthiest thing, most toxic thing ever. I love you. And I'm going to clean this up. Oh, maybe this is getting too long. Well, I guess you could always just turn it off. But I'm going to finish this with you. I'm having so much fun drawing. I love cleaning up. I really do, especially my own work. I don't have the pressure of trying to meet somebody's expectations. But I love doing a good job because this is what I'm going to leave behind when I finally become a statistic. Well, of course, we always... Ow! My back. I'm having all sorts of trouble. You live long enough, you know what pain is. But we also have our dear dog. And it's a shock when I reflect back on all the shows that I've developed that for one reason or horrible reasons didn't advance. including Disney saying my short Prudence was just too weird for them. Do you think that we don't suffer trauma, creators? We do. We have to, you got to be brave. Can't be in this game and be a marshmallow. Although I like marshmallows. Okay, can't be healthy though. I've given marshmallow life up. But I do still remember when we were melting them, turning them into charcoal. Total toxicity levels. Oh, my God. But then that hot, juicy, liquidy, what is it? What is even it? There it is. Look how pretty that is. Okay. That's what I wanted to see. I just wanted to see that it was in field. And then we'll just tidy this one last drawing up. And, we can retire. We can retire. We're doing the midnight hour here. In the midnight hour. Right, so you get to a point in animation. I'm already thinking of another film inspired by this absolute madness that's happening to us all. And especially to us all. And I want to do that. I can't believe it. I can't even finish. I'm halfway, not even halfway, near halving. Did I tell you? Near halving? Look, 2:56:08. That's almost 3 minutes. And I'm not full time on this. On Goose, so lucky on Goose, but I blew that, babies, with my lyrical and experimental leanings. But not this time. This time we're going to deliver the goods. And because I have you'll let me know when this thing is going off the rails. And look at this. You see, and then when we're cleaning up, the refining process comes. It comes naturally. You start inventing things. And that's what, oh my God, it's beautiful. I just want to cut off, right? Cut off. And that's it. So let's give it one more flippy. A flip-de-doo, my darling. Flip-de-doo, my darling. Let's see. Only these. And then we'll call it a night until the next time. It would be great if we could arrange something so that while I'm animating, you could call in and just chat with me while I'm animating. Look at that. So she's going, she's like, right? And and it's so fast. It's like, get away. Get it. Give yourself a hand, Dilworth. And all of you, every day, give yourself a vote. We're in your side. Stay animated.